Ortiz with the UPISD Lifespan Program, and today I am making kale and Parmesan pasta from Michigan Harvest of the Month. Let's take a look at my ingredients. I have 2 large bunches of curly kale, like this, that I have chopped up into pretty thin strips or small pieces. You can tell there's a lot here, and these are the kind of pieces I've cut them up into. Okay, whoops, dropping a few on the floor there. Alright, and I'll show you here how I cut it up. We're not using the stems on the kale, we're cutting around the stems. So I'm just going to cut the leafy part off of the stems, if you can see this. Okay, and the other side. Okay. Alright, can you see how I just kind of have the long leafy parts left? And then I'm just going to chop those up into some smaller pieces, little strips. Okay, and the stems on kale are edible, but they do take a little while longer to cook. So for our recipe, we're going to be sauteing the greens up, and those will cook much faster than the stems would. So we're not going to use the stems in this recipe, but if you want to save the stems and cook them later, that's great. I've heard of even some people pickling kale stems, which I've never tried, but maybe you want to try that. Kale is like a superfood, right? I feel like we hear that a lot, but it's loaded with vitamin A, which of course is good for our vision and immune health as well. Vitamin C, good for our immune health and maintaining strong bones and teeth. And lots of vitamin K in kale. That's going to be important for clotting if you were to get any cuts or scrapes. Okay, let's see. So I have all my little strips or little pieces of kale from that one big kale leaf. I'm going to add it to the rest of my kale over here. And we're going to be sauteing all of that in a minute. All right. Meanwhile, I have some water boiling here. I'm going to need that for my pasta. So another one of my ingredients is 8 ounces, an 8-ounce box of whole wheat pasta, which I have here. And just to give you an idea of what else we're going to need, 2 tablespoons of butter, a couple tablespoons of olive oil, maybe just a pinch, a little bit of red pepper flakes if you like spicy. If you aren't so much into spicy and you want to leave them out, or use some other different kind of seasoning, that's fine. 2 tablespoons of minced garlic, or you could use 6 fresh cloves or a teaspoon of garlic powder. And I'm going to need a half a cup of grated Parmesan cheese eventually. Okay? Alright, but anyway, let's get going, and I'll throw my pasta in here. Alright, and we're just going to want to cook that until it's kind of tender. In the meantime, I can get my garlic and pepper and butter and olive oil cooking together here. So let's do that. That burner doesn't want to light for me, so we'll use this one. Okay. Alright, I'm going to turn my heat to about medium. And I'm adding my butter. I already measured 2 tablespoons. On sticks of butter, it's really nice. The tablespoons are just marked out on the stick, and so you can just cut off the amount that you need. So there's my 2 tablespoons. And I'm going to measure 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Okay, there's 1. And 2. Alright. Great, and I already measured my 2 tablespoons of minced garlic, so I'm just going to throw that in. And you can put everything, for these ingredients, you can put them all in together. You don't have to wait for your butter and olive oil to get hot. And I'm just going to add a pinch of my red pepper flakes. Pretty big pinch because I like spicy. Okay, good. And I'm going to let those cook. Once it gets hot, starts to sizzle, I'm going to let them cook for probably 2 or 3 minutes until my garlic is softened up a little bit. And I will check back in with you when my pasta is ready to go, okay? And we'll continue. See you in a minute. Okay, I'm back. My pasta still needs a few more minutes, but I think my garlic and pepper flakes are ready, and I can start adding some kale to them. So you can see I've just been letting the garlic and pepper simmer a little in the butter and olive oil, and I'm gonna just start throwing in some of this kale. And it looks like a ton of kale, right? But I think it's gonna cook down quite a bit. So I'm gonna throw in a good amount now and maybe start to let this cook down a little bit and just continue to add more as it cooks down and softens. Okay. Stir it a little bit. And it's already starting to cook down a little bit or settle a little bit, so I'm going to throw in another handful here. All right, I think my pasta should be just about ready, but we'll get to that in a second. Okay, we're back. My pasta is tender, so it is ready to be off the heat and done. And before I drain it, I actually want to reserve about a 1/4 cup of the water that it was cooking in. So I'm just gonna reserve that, set it aside. We're gonna put it into our mix with our kale and the pasta together in just a minute. But now I can go ahead and drain my pasta in a colander, which I have set up already here. I think I'm off screen. Oh, yep. So I'm just draining my pasta. Okay. Perfect. And just follow your pasta cooking directions if you're supposed to drain it or not, or if you're supposed to rinse it or not. Okay. But I'm back. My pasta is ready. As you can see, I have all my kale in now. There's none left in my original container. It's all in the pot. I'm going to give it a little while longer because I want the kale to get a little softer, a little more wilty. But it's already starting to get there. It's really cooking down, wilting a little bit. It's getting kind of a deeper green color. We're almost there. So see you again in a minute. Okay, I think my kale is ready to go now. You can see it's really cooked down. It's a nice deep green. Alright, and I have my pasta here, so I'm going to go ahead and throw that in with my kale. Mix it up. And I'm going to add just a little bit of that reserved cooking liquid that I boiled the pasta in. And you can use the whole 1/4 cup if you want, or if it seems like too much liquid, you don't have to use all of it. I just used most of it, I think. Alright. Oops, and I forgot I can go ahead and just turn my heat off now too. Okay. And as you can see, it's looking kind of pretty. And I'm going to go ahead and add my Parmesan cheese, 1/2 cup. Okay, right here. And I'll mix that in too. Ooh, it smells good. Smells nice and garlicky, and then ooh, throwing that Parmesan cheese in with the mixture. It smells really nice. It looks really good. Good look there. Alright. And you're going to want to add salt and pepper to taste too. I'm just going to throw a little bit for myself into a small bowl here. And then I'm going to go ahead and salt and pepper my own. Okay, but you're probably going to want to put salt and pepper in the whole dish, like I said. And let's grab a fork here, and I'm going to give it a try. It's probably going to be pretty hot still. Let's see. It's hard to grab this kale. All right. Got some of the pasta and kale all together. Hopefully it's cool enough. Wow. It's really good. The kale still has a lot of texture. So it really still has like almost some crunch. Even though the kale looked really soft and wilty, there's still quite a bit of texture to it, almost some crunch. And the garlic and Parmesan taste together is really nice. And there's just a little bit of spiciness with that red pepper that I put in. I really like it. So, all right. Again, that was kale and Parmesan pasta from Michigan Harvest of the Month. I'll share the recipe. As always, thank you for watching. Bye.